you know what? How about you just go? Like, hold some so we can get somebody else in here. Because, like, you churning. God.
Hey, my dog showed up, chilled for 26 days, and said, get somebody else to do it.
It's the glow on the screen, the pulse of the night, Jim and Dame in the scene, breaking it right.
While we're over across the pond, let's talk about the slippery situation France has slipped right into with their prime minister that was out the door, and we'll get into that. But yeah, there's like what, the sixth one, something like that. We'll get into that. Good old France.
Ex-prime minister. On Wednesday, President Emmanuel Macron announced his office would name someone within 48 hours. Sebastien Lecornu shocked the country when he resigned on Monday after just 26 days in the role. He stepped down the day after he had unveiled his cabinet, which was fiercely criticized as maintaining the status quo. Lecornu was the third French prime minister to leave office since December. The political uncertainty rivaled by the economic challenges. There has been deadlock over next year's austerity budget, and critics are demanding Macron call early elections. For more, let's speak to our reporter, Antonia Kerrigan, who is outside the Elysee Palace.
So they said they want you to,
Antonia, tell us a little bit
bring up you
about
leaving
what's
early.
happening this Friday.
Well, Emmanuel Macron has summoned the leaders of all of the political forces to the Elysee Palace this afternoon. That is excluding only the radical left France Unbowed and the far right National Rally. Jean-Luc Mélenchon of the France Unbowed said that his party was being spared what he described as a spectacle. The guests were invited in the small hours of the morning. And this is, of course, as Emmanuel Macron has heard Sebastien Lecornu's words from Wednesday, that the only majority in the National Assembly is against the dissolution of Parliament. So Emmanuel Macron intends to apply pressure on the various leaders to prevent that from happening and to reconcile their differences in that direction.
So their government is crumbling.
Will likely be particularly potent this morning as the leaders wake up to polling that says that with current voting intentions, 36% of the electorate would vote a national rally if elections were called tomorrow. Now, Emmanuel Macron may or may not put forward a name to the assembled company, which will be 11 guests, and see if and how the troops rally. That said, there are some irreconcilables in that room, and there'll likely be a bit of a row. The leftist parties present see the absolute...
We can stop it whenever you're ready. I think that sums it up. France can't get their ish together, and they like, you know what? You ain't doing right by us. But you know what? How about you just go? Like, hold some so we can get somebody else in here, because like you churning.
Hey, my dog showed up, chilled for 26 days, and said, "Get somebody else to do it."
He opened up that book and started reading.
He more like said, "My bad." You know what I'm saying?
He said, "Sacre bleu." I think it's out of here.
First of all, you sounded like Gambit. I'm mad at you.
He said, "Sacre bleu."
All right, let me bring three things in here that I've seen since this kind of departure is almost unprecedented. So the first thing I would say
for the
is
third person in the same fiscal year is crazy.
Right. So the first thing is record-breaking political instability. Over in this section, we've seen things that are happening over there in France. The shortest serving prime minister in history, and this is the of the Fifth Republic, so resigning in just 27 days. Like, it's just acute instability, and it's marking the exit in less than 3 years. So that's the first thing. Second thing is the coalition collapse of the parliamentary gridlock over there. So this is something that we actually need to pay attention to on this side of the house, because the level of instability is allowing for people to have less faith in government. That's and Macron.
Well, that's the thing. They don't they don't respect him at all, because his wife don't respect him.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. We go down to Candace Owens.
No. I'm not.
Okay.
I didn't say anything about the laser. Okay. I'm just saying in general that the situation is that of all the presidents they've had, his spouse has been the loudest. You get what I'm saying? There's been so much backlash about their situation, which nobody should really even be interested in. But unfortunately, it's been at the front of everybody's mind of their union and everything else. I mean, he's that guy got elected at 39. He was very young. He seems very impressionable, and he looked like he had a bright future, but he just can't get it together. No one wants to really work with him. And then we saw his display with Trump. He was like, "No, I'm going to stand my ground." And then got his ass ran over with tariffs. Like, quit playing, man. You look paper thin. You know what I mean? So that's what the prime minister was looking like. I'm not standing next to him.
So I'll get into part 2 about this, about gridlock, because that's possibly where we might be heading towards in our democratic republic, right? Is the gridlock, and then can't seemingly get anything together. So the reason why this is significant is because of the fragmented parliament over there, where no party holds a majority, and it prevents the formation of a stable government, and it blocks passages of legislation. That's where we're getting towards. Right. So, and that includes the national budget over there in France. And that's kind of like what we're staring at over here in the US with government shutdown. So I find it ironic and also kind of like weird that all of this is happening at the same time. Tinfoil hat, tinfoil kofi, if you nasty. Last thing is mounting pressure on Macron and the French democracy. So this crisis is fueled by calls for President Macron to call new elections, like they just said in this thing. So, even resign, right, as the mounting public frustration. We've seen all of those demonstrations that they had over there and everything else. Falling polling numbers, sounds familiar to me. Economic worry sounds familiar to me. Macron's leadership faces extraordinary challenges. And analysts are noting that Macron may have been his last bullet, right, in order to restore political order. And so Sebastian Leclerc's resignation marked the shortest PM tenure in just 27 days. So I just wanted to bring that back up, just so that we need to start looking at some of these things as people within our republic, to start thinking about what it means to be politically active, involved in stating our case to our representation in order to make stuff, I'm trying not to cuss, move, because we can really quickly head down this road, because there's been a lot of political theater, I would say, and not a lot of action.